Okay, remember the story. The Senate intern who cursed at President Trump identified. She wasn't fired. She was suspended 1 week. Now, New Hampshire Democrat Senator Maggie Hassan, this intern worked for her. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, not happy about just a suspension. Watch.
Look at this intern last week, this a congressional summer intern. Her name is Caitlin Marriott. I'm sure she's being deified on the left, the socialist left.
She got a week suspension.
She got a week suspension and still has her job. I guarantee you, I talked to the president this morning. He says hello, by the way. I can promise you on his behalf that if a White House intern here this summer ever said anything like that to an elected official, let alone the president of the United States, the F word followed by the name, I guarantee you that person would be gone.
Let's bring back the panel. Gina, it's great to have you guys back, Gina and Wendy. Gina, Senator Hassan is saying her behavior, what she said, the intern said, you shouldn't be equated with the president's destructive and divisive actions, that the president is the worst actor here. What's your comment on that?
This is an intern speaking in a place that should have a certain level of decorum. She not only should be fired, Elizabeth, she should be taken home and have her mouth washed out with soap. That's the way it would have been handled before people like Maxine Waters were advocating publicly, with very few Democrats even opposing her, for more hostility and more vitriol. That's what led to this. She thinks it's okay because of the leaders of her own party.
Wendy, why wasn't she fired?
Well, actually, that's a joke, what Gina said, because we have individuals like Kelly Sadler, who is actually a White House aide, who said that John McCain is dying anyway, but she wasn't fired. So let's make sure that we are holding people accountable.
That was a private meeting,
Excuse me, let me finish, Gina. I let you finish. We have people on both sides of the aisle who are using inappropriate language. So if we are going to wash someone's mouth out with soap, let us make sure that we are washing out the mouths of those people who are staying at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, because that's an issue.
Understood. Wendy, you agree the rhetoric has to be dialed back, right?
The rhetoric has to be dialed back for both sides.
Okay, the way to dial it back is to stop the behavior, correct?
No, the way to dial it back is for the President of the United States to show some decorum and hold his people accountable.
So everybody should dial it back. So stop doing it, everybody, right, Gina? In other words, the intern should have been fired. You agree with that. Kelly Sadler should have gotten in trouble, too, more quickly.
She should have been fired.
Everybody needs to dial it back, right, Gina?
It needs to be dialed back, but this is an intern we're talking about. That's very different from a professional who's hired, and it's very different from someone who didn't use profanities versus someone who did. It was a private meeting versus someone yelling this at the President of the United States. Completely apples to oranges once again. I don't know why the Democrats can.
Wendy, that is unacceptable to yell at. We're talking about the office of the presidency, right?
When you try to,
you have to treat. Wait a minute. Wait. Forgive me. You have to treat the office of the presidency with respect. Do you agree with that?
Are you serious? We have individuals who work for the president who use vitriol.
I'm talking about the office.
I
hear what you're saying. I'm talking only about the intern right now in this. I hear what you're saying about Kelly Sadler. I'm talking about the intern in a public space yelling F you at the president. I'm talking about respecting the office of the presidency. Go ahead.
If the intern used that language, yes, it is wrong.
She's on tape using it.
The president himself doesn't even respect his own office. So what are we saying here? Like, let us be honest. Let us be very clear here. We should hold both sides accountable.
Point. Gina, respond to what Wendy just said about the president not respecting his own office with his attack tweets and more.
Completely ridiculous, Wendy. He's been so effective. The president only ever hits back. The president has, every single 36 hours, the president has accomplished something monumental, and that's without the help of the media.
Does he need to be so personal in his attacks? That's the question.
So it's okay for the president to say,
hang on, Elizabeth, this was an intern against the president of the United States. And I would submit to you, Elizabeth, that Wendy would be making a different argument were it Obama who had been yelled at by an intern.
Wendy, I'm sorry we ran out of time.
Obama would never do what your President Trump has done.
Okay, Gina and Wendy, thank you so much. We ran out of time. Thank you both. I really appreciate it.